What is up, you guys? It is summer here in Las Vegas. It's Randy Hatada representing Xpand Realty, bringing you your Las Vegas housing update. Today we have another special guest. Her name is Tiffany Garaldi. She's an Xpand agent as well, and she's been in real estate, 20 years?
Yeah, I'll be 20 years in September.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So we're both 20 years plus in the business, and congratulations from LVR. Now you're a tenured agent or something.
Yes, the whole thing, celebration, right? So
I'll be there with you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think it's a lunch. So thank you, LVR, for putting that on and recognizing the, not old schoolers, what would we call it?
The experienced.
The experienced agents. So, Tiffany, anything you want to share about summer or your family? I mean...
Summer's been good. It's been really hot, but I've been busy with the family. They keep me very busy with boxing and everything. So I can't believe they're going to go back to school next month already.
How much kids are you juggling now? 3? 4?
I have 4 children. 3 are grown, and then my youngest is 13, and I have a granddaughter who's with me for the summer. So
how cool is that? Is she based in Hawaii?
She lives in Texas, actually.
Wow. What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
I've been there
city.
a few times, and
I love it there, and the food.
Yeah.
Things to do.
And it's pretty green out there, right?
It is. A lot of culture, a lot of rain, and humidity too. So.
All right. Well, thanks for updating us on your family and summer. Summer's been kind of mellow for us. You know, like right now we've kind of took a step back from sports and trying to catch your breath, right?
Yes.
Get refreshed and then start all over again as things cool down. Your husband runs a boxing gym, doesn't he?
Yes, pound for pound boxing gym.
Pound for pound boxing gym, and I've heard good things about. I mean, I know him, but I've heard good things about the gym.
Yes.
Very cool. And your kids, the twins, and now Santana is a prodigy of that, right?
Yes.
They're doing really well as well.
They are. I'm so proud of them. They work so hard. So they're doing well. My older sons are pros. They're actually fighting next week in Orlando, both of them.
And would you want to share everybody's names?
Angel Barrientos, Chavez Barrientos, and my youngest is Santana Barrientos. So
if you guys ever want to look it up, those are the 3 boxers to follow, up and coming future champs of Las Vegas, right? So Tiffany's originally from Hawaii, and how long have you been in Las Vegas?
About 21 years now.
Oh, so you just went right into real estate?
Yes, I sold back home for a few months, got my feet wet there, sold a couple properties, and then moved up here.
Super cool. Super cool. Well, now everybody knows your life and who you are, and we're gonna roll out what's going on with Las Vegas, right? So right now it is peak summer. It's been kind of a slow start, but it's starting to get hot again. Today's high is going to be like 108 degrees.
It's brutal. I'm dying out there.
And I just looked at the weather report. Monday's looking like 111, which is going to be the high, and then it drops back down. So the kind of joke is I don't know if you tell your friends and clients that don't live here and are relocating here, I tell them, if you can survive the summer in Las Vegas, you're going to make it. Weather-wise anyway.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and Vegas isn't for everyone, but although the temperature sounds really hot, and it is dry heat, and the truth is that some of us deal with it outside, but most of us don't. Most of us are kind of indoors during the 2 months of the year.
Right.
And you may or may not know this, but Las Vegas is a little bit of dusty sometimes, so people don't normally open their windows throughout, and AC is usually running through the whole year. But it is really nice when it'll cool down, probably in September, October. Halloween just plunges and it's freezing, right?
That's the date when everything just starts getting really cold is Halloween. That's what I tell people too. Same thing.
Then you have beautiful months again, February, March, April.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get 3 potentially different climates, and it's nice to have the change.
Right.
Yeah. With that, it is summer, it is peak season, it is 108 degrees or almost 108 degrees today. So, piggybacking off that, here's a good tip for real estate. Get your AC systems tuned if you haven't already. I mean, realistically, the best time to tune your AC is pre-summer and pre-winter, right? Pre-summer for the cooling, pre-winter for the heating, and that way you can potentially avoid problems during peak season because that's when all the contractors are busy and things could be more expensive. And then on top of that, you probably save on your energy bill and efficiency by
Right.
just keeping it tuned, just like a car, you know. And I think a lot of people forget to tune up their ACs or clean them, and thus they don't run as efficiently as they're made to be. So that's a
Right.
great tip, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Another good tip, piggybacking off that, is that you should be changing your air conditioning filters quarterly, if not monthly. During the summer, I would say monthly because one, it'll help your HVAC equipment run more efficiently and properly. And it'll also help with your AC bill because what happens is as your filters get clogged up, more and more the machine struggles and works harder, thus it pulls more energy. So just by keeping up with that is great on top of the air purity and all that good
Right.
stuff. And here's a fun fact. A lot of the air conditioning contractors advise us to not use the top rated air conditioning filters. In fact, they're saying use the cheap ones and keep on rotating them.
Right.
And the rationale behind that is the more restrictive, the harder the machine works, thus the higher your energy bill. So same concept, but just a little note. Do you do that?
Yeah, buy the cheaper ones, just like you said, and just change them out monthly.
Yeah, a lot of people buy the hyperallergenic
Right.
ones and all that. And they do work, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
your machine does work harder.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't know this fact, but the intake for the AC is actually inside the house. So the air it's intaking is actually most likely from your living room or bedroom or whatever it is. So, you know, having all those heavy duty filters, yes, it'll clean out the air to a certain extent, but it is the interior, not the exterior
Right,
air.
right.
Yeah. Another quick tip is you need to adjust your landscaping timers if you haven't. And most of Las Vegas, our landscaping is run by an auto drip system.
Yes.
And we do have regulations that we're supposed to follow. So if you didn't change it to summer watering schedule, make sure you do so because we need to conserve water here in Las Vegas, right?
And water in the evening because, well, that's what I do because in the daytime, obviously it's too hot. You're going to kill your grass. So just make
And
sure.
it'll evaporate in seconds.
Right, right. So,
This is true. Speaking of the sun and the heat, that brings up another topic that I want to bring up. That is solar, purchase solar. So what I've learned is that based on the new bills that are looking to be passed or put into action, the federal tax credit for owned solar is going away by the end of the year. And that's 30% tax credit. So what that means is that if you're thinking about installing own solar or purchase solar, you have to do it and it has to be installed and operating by the end of the year. If not, you don't get the 30%
Right.
federal tax credit. So if you're thinking about it, go seek your solar rep and get started. And if you need a rep, we're happy to refer you a couple good ones.
and definitely find somebody that you can trust because there's a lot of not good companies out there. So that's really important too.
Yeah, not everyone is trustworthy, and so that's
And that's
a
a
great
huge
tip.
purchase too. So you want to make sure
It
you-
is a huge
yeah.
purchase, and there's a million different ways to purchase and brands and efficiencies, and I've just heard all the horror stories. So, good point. Pick your solar rep very carefully, and again, if you need a rep, we can send you a couple good referrals. Yeah. Another huge topic going on right now is insurance, homeowners insurance. We just spoke about this in our agents meeting yesterday, right, Tiffany? And homeowners insurance has been, I'm sure you know it's been increasing, but the topic that I want to bring up is putting in claims. And the reason behind it is that, first of all, insurance companies are pulling out of the market, and there's only so much left in the market. So maybe you've experienced this where your carrier is exiting the industry for homeowners insurance and you have to rebind with a new company. That's been pretty common. But what I'm talking about next is claims. And so anytime you have an insurance claim, they take inventory on that claim, and it usually goes on your clue report. And after you do the claim, a lot of carriers don't want to renew your policy because you just put in a claim and it costs them a lot of money. Is the long story short. Got to understand, insurance companies are businesses as well, and they, obviously they're trying to stay profitable. And so after Lahaina fires in Maui, after the California fires, those were both devastating hits to the insurance industry. So with all that going on amongst all the other issues, a lot of them have exited the industry. So just be careful. And before you put in a claim, whether it's a flood or whatever it is, if it's not major, I would highly consider doing the math before you put in that claim. Because even if they don't honor the claim or you cancel the claim itself, it's still in the books as you filed a flood report or something. And most of your deductibles are probably going to average about $1,000, which means that's how much you got to come out of pocket, and they usually cover the rest of it to a certain extent. A good example is you have a flood and there's water remediation that needs to be happened, right? I mean, that needs to happen. The bill's $2,100. Your deductible is $1,000. If you can afford that additional $1,100, it's probably not worth it to put the claim in, because premiums will rise and over time you'll pay it back, and then they may drop you and it may be very hard for you to find a new carrier. And when you find that new carrier, it'll be more expensive as well. So it hits you in every way. Insurance is there for that reason, but again, you kind of want to really screen for, is it worth it? Is this major? Can I afford the repair? Because the consequence is exactly what we just talked about. And that's kind of an industry trend going on.
That just happened to me, actually. I have a client.
Really?
Yeah, investor client. So she owns a lot of property here, and I don't know why her deductible was so high, but it was somewhere in the range of like $4,000 or $5,000. So the repair was less than that. So we ended up obviously not filing the claim, but her deductible was really high. So it wouldn't have made sense for her to go that way, and then it would have cost her more.
So to my understanding, thank you for sharing, the claims follow both the property and the owner in different ways. So just be careful with that, because on our property management arm, we have an owner with multiple properties, and because it's all under his name, even though they're different properties, it all goes to his name, and the insurance carrier is saying, we don't want to renew your portfolio because you have so much claims.
And it stays on the property as well.
I think the clue report follows the... See, I'm not the insurance.
We need to find out. I feel like it does follow the property as well, too.
It does follow the property as well, because in our last episode with our insurance expert, he was saying that like there's communities where they no longer want to insure because they have too much owners within that community on their company's policy. Thus, if there's something that happens within the community, it's basically risk mitigation for insurance companies. They don't want to have too much density in one community, so they do follow it. As far as claims, I do believe that they do follow it because they can look up if there's been a flood before.
Yes.
But we need to find out in more clarity how it follows the owner versus the property.
Right.
Yeah, that's something we need to learn, and when we'll find out, we'll share with you guys. Any more about insurance?
No, just that everything's high right now. So shop around, but don't shop around too much. Don't jump to too many different companies, because they know when you're shopping around too.
And again, there's not that much big ones in the industry right now. So yeah, be careful with that. Here's a sketchy topic that I was thinking about not bringing up today, but I'm going to bring it up. What the heck, right? You guys need to know. And that is my opinion about how home warranty plans have changed.
Yes.
And so agents, when you get buyer representation, in many cases, your buyer's agent will help negotiate the seller to pay for your homeowner's insurance policy, homeowner's plan, which usually lasts about 1 year. And because the seller paid for it, everyone's grateful for that plan. Now, it's a kind of double-edged sword, because most people buy those specific plans, which range between $500 to $800, to hedge against the big repairs. Not so much the small repairs, because the service fee alone has been increased from, on average, $75 to $110.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's been a massive increase in just a service call. But you're not getting it for those little mini items, because it's more efficient for you to just fix those items. It is mainly for the large items, and the biggest mechanical item on a property is the HVAC unit. And a HVAC replacement, heating and cooling, could average between $8,000 and $15,000
and more
per unit.
It just changed,
per unit. So, but yes, that's just a range. So Could be more, could be less. But what has changed with these home warranty plans is that in the past, yes, it's hard, but eventually when they have to replace the unit, they would honor the replacement of the unit with a brand new unit. Well, that's changed for most companies anyway. And most of the companies now, after doing the updated research, are averaging about $1,500. And if you're on a premium plan, $2,500 credit to your brand new AC. So you really got to do the math, what's worth it for you. And again, if the seller paid for it, that's another thing because it's someone else's expense. But if it's your expense upon getting a plan or renewing, that's something to really think about. The second part is, the type of service levels and the timing of servicers coming to fulfill your needs, right? And that's kind of an issue because there's, in many cases, a major lag there. So just be careful with that. So this is not advice. These are just tips for you guys to really think about if you have plans or you're planning to purchase a property. Something to think about and know about before you do that.
I agree, but I feel a little bit differently. I think it's good to have. I mean, even the big ticket items, they're straight out the door. They're not going to replace it for you. They're going to go through the motions. They're going to see exactly what's wrong, the coil, the motor, the whatever the parts are, and then try to fix that. But I still feel like at the end of the day, it's good to have because they're going to fix those parts and hopefully it'll work. I mean, once they can't figure it out, like you said, they're going to give you a credit towards a certain amount, whether that be $2,500 or whatever. That's still something towards it, right? But they're going to try to fix it prior to replacing it.
They're going to continue trying to fix it until they can.
I mean, that's the thing too. Like my mom, she has a pool. So the pumps and the motors and all that stuff, it's very costly. So they do come out. She regularly has to get things fixed. But to replace such a big ticket item, which might cost thousands, so like for her to, spend the $100 versus a couple grand out the door, then she'd rather go that route.
Gives you a little peace of mind.
Yeah, So, and then that's the same thing with like the roofs and stuff. I always recommend my clients get the roof. Not that we have a lot of rain, but you just never know when you might have a roof leak or something. So, $100 service fee versus getting, removing and replacing and all that stuff. And the other thing too that I found out is that if you don't go with the home warranty company and you do go with a regular AC person or whatever, you're paying like retail price. So it is going to cost you more to repair those items. So I don't know. It's just kind of like opinion based. I think it's peace of mind.
It is. It is. And let me clarify what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying that
different.
The plans are not what they used to be, and they've morphed into what they are today.
Right.
So back in the day, it was pretty much a slam dunk that it made sense.
Yeah.
Today, it's questionable in my lens because we deal with them on the daily from our property management department. So a little bit of skewed vision. We've had multiple rough experiences, but that's life, right?
Yeah.
And there's good and bads about everything.
Good and bad,
Thank you for the different perspective.
I don't know if that, I know in my experience, it's been more of a good thing than a bad thing. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're one of the people who took that approach, and I like the perspective. Like, tell it like it is, Tiffany.
Well, and that's the thing too. We have good reps. So when I know that things aren't happening, I'm on the phone calling them like, you know what, you guys need to deal with this, fix it, make it right. So I mean, you pay for it.
SOS.
Yeah.
SOS.
So yeah.
Yeah. If you get it through an agent, then there is a rep that services the agent. But I don't think consumers can go direct and get that same rep. It's a different.
That's correct.
It's a different way to do it.
Right.
All right.
And through your agent, you get a better deal and you get more coverage, by the way, versus you getting the home warranty just on your own outside. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. I think it's just good to have just in case,
I still have them on one of our units, but again, it's opinion based, and it's good to stay educated. Do the math if it makes sense, right? Yeah. So, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, well, let's jump into the numbers. Why probably everyone is here, right?
Yes.
With open ears.
Yes, let's get the data.
Let's get the data. All right, so there are three numbers that we've been talking about in our agents meeting, and there's three numbers that really stand out. So when I hit those numbers, I'm going to elaborate on them. And there were some surprises this month that was kind of unexpected. And we'll tell you why. So we're going to talk about June numbers. Right now it's July, so we're going to talk about what happened in June. And that gives us indicators on where we're going because no one has that crystal ball, right? So, well, no one that I know anyway. Units sold. So we're up to 1,946 units sold. That's down 141 units from last month and down just 7% from last year. And that's about when it started slowing down from interest rates and all that. So the long story short, the summary about units sold is that our market's kind of slow, where we usually expect a lot more closings than sub 2,000. So our market has slowed down. And we'll talk about the reasons and all that at the end with Tiffany. But what surprised me, this is the shocking number, is that our median price point went up. And we went from 480,000 up to 485,000, which ties our record high in all of Las Vegas history earlier this year. So go figure, right? Sales go down, price goes up. Like, what? So we'll work through that. As far as new listings, we had less new listings than the month prior. We're at 3,252 new listings. That's down about 340 listings from May. So less people are listing than listed in May. So that's expected. It's summer, We usually expect the bulk of the listings during spring. And what didn't match the bulk of listings is buyers offering and getting into escrows. So that's the difference. Median ask price is up to $520,000. That's actually down $12,000 from the month prior, which means to me that sellers are probably starting to understand that the market is a little bit slower and we need to either adjust our numbers or list more conservatively than we did before. And we can talk about strategies and what works and what's not working in the summary as well. As far as available units, we're just shy of 7,000 available units, which is high. That's a number to really monitor. That's up 346 available units from the month prior. But that's only up it's up 70% in inventory from last year. So it's a completely different market. So, we follow the trends, but for comparison reasons, yes, you can look at last year's numbers, but don't compare the two as apples and apples because it's a totally different market. Effective availability, this is another very important number that I want to elaborate on. Month supply of inventory. And month supply of inventory simply means if we stop having listings today, how much months would it take to take down all those listings into solds, right? And we're up about 0.4 month supply of inventory, which is quite a bit because it totals 3.6 months supply of inventory. That's a lot. Yes. So we're at 3.6 months supply. That's up 82% from last year. So we're almost double the supply that we had last year. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, this is only for single-family residences. So we're going to analyze these numbers again in the end, but right now, as you can quickly summarize, a lot of inventory, less sales. What does that equate to, right? As far as condos, kind of following the trend with units sold, we had 515 condos sold in June, down 44 sales from May, same trend, down 15% from the year before. And new listings are down also to 926, which is probably good, in balancing this market. And that's down 177 listings from the month prior, which is down 11% from last year. Median price actually went down a little bit to 305,000. So that did the opposite of the single families. And this is, I keep forgetting if I didn't do the intro, but these are in regards to condos and townhomes. But our median price point for condos and townhomes is 305,000, down just a shy, couple grand from last month, but something to monitor because we follow trends. And when things go this way and then this way, even if it's a little bit, it's something to acknowledge and understand and watch. Median price point actually went down just a shy as well, just a hair, $1,500 to $297,500, which is up 2.6% from last year. Now, what's strange, if you're looking at our chart here, is that in single families, our median ask price was $520,599, and our median sale price was $485,000. Right? And we can talk about why that gap is that way, but that's typical, right? Listings are normally more than what the sales price is because of negotiations and whatnot. In the condo market, your sale price at $305,000 is higher than the median list price at $297,500. So it's above the median ask price. Kind of strange, something to talk about, right? Why is that happening? Units available is up 54 units from the month prior, to 2,564 units available for condos, and that's also up a lot, 87% from last year. So housing units available went up 70%, condos units available went up to 87%. Now talking about effective availability or month supply, it also went up a lot by half a month supply of inventory, making it a 5-month supply of inventory. And that's up 120% from last year. So kind of following the same trend as single families, except for the median price point being above the median ask price. Okay. So there are your numbers, guys, if you're looking at the screen. But now, we're going to have that conversation about what's going on and why. That's, to me, the most important part, is not just having the data, but being able to analyze it and figure out where we were, where we are, and where we're going, right? So we can navigate this crazy world we live in called real estate. So what numbers should we address?
I feel like the way I see it is the month supply, right? So those numbers are higher. So what does that mean?
What does that mean, Tiffany?
That means that there's more inventory out there. It means that more selection, more room for negotiation, a lot of room, I feel like, so
with inventory up, sales down, what kind of market is it?
A buyer's market.
It is a buyer's market for sure. The leverage are with the buyers right now. So if you had a crystal ball,
yes,
and we both agree that interest rates could change this market overnight,
yes,
what do you think that magic number in interest rates would be to really move the needle for buyers to start re-engaging this market?
I mean, right now we're at 6.8, so I think anything below 6, somewhere in the range 5.5 to 6.
I'm on the same page as you. Anything to me sub 6.
Yeah.
I think buyers are going to come charging in and bring their friends and family. And that's what we're kind of monitoring, because spring, we had a slow spring. Usually that's the hottest time of the year as far as real estate is concerned. And because we didn't have that hot closing market or sales, sales were low, I'm thinking, well, people are still relocating to Las Vegas. Yes. We're top 50 in all metro areas in growth. We have, 40,000 plus people moving from California alone. Where are they, right? I know they're here. I know you guys are here if you're listening. And to me, you got to be in temporary housing if you're in the buying market, right? And so you either have to decide whether you're going to rent or you're going to buy, because right now you're probably in a hotel, in an Airbnb, short-term rental. Family. And that might be getting old quick.
Right.
So it's not long-term sustainable. And I'm just joking because I've just heard it from my clients. And I won't go there right now, but they're like, man, this is getting old. Yeah. We need to make a move soon.
Right.
But it's not long-term sustainable, right? So what's holding people back from buying is really consumer confidence. And we've talked about it. It's probably a broken record, but we're going through a lot in America. We're going through higher interest rates from us being very spoiled in the 3s, 4s, whatever they were. And now, like you said, we're in the high 6s. That's still a pretty decent rate, but again, coming from that, we're very skewed in what a good interest rate is, right? If you came from the 90s, that would be a great rate, right? So Interest rates is a huge factor. Another factor is all this geopolitical stuff that we keep talking about. And then, what's going on in Iran, what's going on with these new bills, what's going on with the tariffs. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in our geopolitical environment influencing buyer confidence. And it's also influencing travel and vacations to Las Vegas. And I know our strips, the casinos they're having a hard time right now.
Yes.
Yeah? Have you been to the Strip lately?
Not lately, but I keep hearing that. So I hear it's a little bit more quiet out there. And
Yeah, I just went a couple times, and just so you guys know, most of us locals don't go to the Strip that often. It's not what people probably think. Because we're from Hawaii, we joke and we refer to it like Waikiki. Well, when's the last time you've been to Waikiki, right? And so here in Las Vegas, we just don't visit the Strip. Well, on average, most of us don't visit the Strip that often. And maybe if we want entertainment, we want to get a good eat, or we have friends and family in town. All good reasons. But, the truth is that most of us have work-life balance that we're working on, and the Strip doesn't really have that much time in our lives to appreciate. So when we do go, we check it out, see what's going on, and I just got to go a couple times this week, and I expected it to be really slow, just like the news articles were putting out. But it was extremely busy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. And I went to one was at Mandalay, but it's kind of skewed because the Weeknd was playing a concert that weekend.
Oh, okay.
That was last weekend. So everyone was at Mandalay because that's where you park to get to Allegiant, if Allegiant's full, right?
Oh, okay.
So that casino was just jam-packed. Then I went to, a couple days ago, back to Mandalay. We went to go to Swingers.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually not probably what you're thinking. It's a golf club. It's a golf
fun center.
Yeah, it's a putting golf
adults.
center for adults. Except they open it up to kids for this summer up until 5 p.m.
Nice.
A pretty cool experience. Very different. We had a good time. Had a few beers. Competed with my buddy and had to show him what's up. Yeah. No, we tied actually. So, but we had a good time, and that's why we went to Mandalay Bay. Mm-hmm. Then we went to the Venetian. I went to the Venetian, and the Venetian was pretty busy. I expected it to be slow, just like the articles read, but maybe it was a weekend, so it was really busy. But could it be busier? Yes, absolutely. Was it busy? It was pretty busy. So I'm curious to look at occupancy, and with all that being said, people aren't spending as much on the tables and on the machines. That's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I do think that's hopefully temporary, and I think a lot of it has to deal with everything that's going on in our world today, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. In our meeting yesterday, our agent Steve brought up a good point, or Paul, one of those agents, right? And they were talking about how based on the border and ICE and all that, there's a lot of fear to cross borders, so a lot of people aren't traveling internationally, where Las Vegas is a destination point. So we've been affected heavily, not just locally on the ICE thing, but from the international travels as well.
Right. Coming in from Canada is what we were talking about.
Right. And I didn't know Canada was an issue, but apparently it's even there.
Yeah, their clients couldn't come over, he was saying.
Yeah.
We have our favorite Mexican restaurants on the east side, and I mean, just a little different topic, but kind of the same. It's really sad because the restaurants are like empty over there. Restaurants are empty, and like the businesses, I just feel so bad for the families that are affected by all of this.
And these are restaurants that were normally busy?
Packed on the weekends. So when there were like 2 other tables, and it was really sad. But I don't know, I just can't wait to evolve out of this. And
what's the positive out of this? Go eat at the busy restaurants because they might not be as busy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We got to put a positive swing in there.
Right.
But as far as the market, here's the positive thing. Buyers can benefit right now.
That's the moral.
That's kind of the headline.
Story. Yeah.
Sellers are struggling, and I will say that because, we do a lot of listings and we deal with our sellers. And, the message is, this is what the market is doing, right? And we do not control demand as a realtor. New builders can, but us as resale realtors can't. We just control the marketability of the property, we enhance the listing, and we basically try to get as much viewership online, which leads to showings, which leads to offers. But all the way from the analytics to the viewings to the offers, everything's a little bit down right now. And people just aren't in the normal buying mode. And in our meeting yesterday, we were talking about like, what's the message? Us as consultants, we have a responsibility to help, guide. Oh, drink your water, it says. It's summer. I get dehydrated after 2:00. So note to self, note to you guys, drink your water. But, what's the message? What's the right answer? Should I buy now? Should I buy later? Right? And for me, it's always, of course, it depends on the person buying if the timing is right for them. But on the market perspective, to me, it's like, well, what's the alternative to not buying? And how does that affect you, right? Because the alternative to not owning, if you're looking to own, is renting, Airbnb, hotel, or like we talked about, family, friends, extra bedroom, or couch for that matter, right? And it gets a little uncomfortable potentially. So, what are all the people here going to do, and when are they going to do it? And that's what I'm referring to when I say there might be a snowball effect, because if people are moving here at a certain rate and closings for sales are happening at a certain rate, and our rentals are also slow right now, slower than normal, then these are the long-term solutions for housing. It has to catch up, because January, February, March, April, May, June, that's 6 months of people that haven't made a decision yet, right? And so, to me, it's like, could the market go down? Absolutely. Could the market go up? Absolutely. And no one has that crystal ball. We don't. We follow trends. We analyze data, but we don't have that crystal ball. And then we also keep our ear to the ground, but it's all educated opinions, and right. So that's what we divulge to our clients. It's like, we don't have that crystal ball, but here's what I'm thinking based on what you've told me. And then we have that conversation. A lot of people who think the market's going to adjust down, then eventually defer to renting, and it's usually 1-year leases. I would say that's a good solution. And if it's long-term for you because of whatever reason, great. If it's a short-term solution, I would say really during that lease, consider when's the timing, because if you wait till the end of the lease, it's too late, right? Now you got to renew because you're going to be in between properties by the time you find something and then go through a 30-day closing. So most of our tenant friends, we're telling them, like, if your goal is to get into homeownership and you're already in a lease and don't want to break it, you got to start shopping at least halfway through at 6 months. Right.
Get prepared for it. I always tell my clients that too.
Yeah.
Maybe, depends on the client, right? And their situation. You kind of know, what their story is. So if they need longer time to prepare.
Right. And that could be many things. Yeah. You could be having to prepare emotionally. You might have to prepare with your family blessing. You might have to prepare with your credit, your down payment. And for us, we just try to help navigate them to that dream of homeownership if they're not there yet, and if that's what they want, right? And if they want us to be accountability partners, sometimes that's what we are. Hey, are you putting that money away? Just like you talked about, hey, why'd you buy that car?
Oh, yeah, definitely takes guidance.
Or maybe you shouldn't buy the car before it happens.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Wait till after you close, buy that car. No, I was going to say I have a client, same situation. So sold their condo in Hawaii, and that actually went pretty quick because it was an affordable condo. They moved up here, staying with family 2 months, and they're like, we're so done. So, what's going to happen with the market? We don't know, but I did my best to get them the best property. We were able to, come in and pretty low actually, because the sellers were very motivated they didn't even live in the house. They're in California. So it all worked out in the end, but they were ready to get off of the family's couch.
And we can't justify that with numbers. That is like a personal situation. And to me, that situation says, let's go find something else, whether it's a rental or purchase.
Yes. And they're so happy.
Oh, they did purchase?
They purchased. We just closed last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. My active listening wasn't participating.
Yeah, so they closed last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good for them.
Thank Thank you.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of deals going on right now, you know.
There are.
Can the market dip? Yeah, it could. I think one of the messages is just mind framing for buyers. And it's really a lot of buyers who are thinking that the market's going to dip are only thinking that the market's going to dip, but they're not all looking at the consequence. What if it goes up? What's the consequence then? Right? And I think by weighing out both, then you can make a little bit better educated decision based on today and where you're going to go in the future. Because my message to the agents yesterday was like, buyers don't know this, but buyers in the market right now who are undecided are gambling. And they're either gambling that the market's going to go up or the market's going to go down. The sure thing is if the buyers, because it's a buyer's market, yes, numbers are high right now, but it's a sure thing if you can afford the mortgage comfortably, right? And, you know, and you're good with what's out there as far as price and product and value. The sure thing is that you can most likely negotiate a good deal and value for you based on today's market. So that's the sure thing, right? If you wait, that's where it becomes question marks. And if you wait, if the market goes down, great for you. But what are you doing in the meantime? Are you renting, or are you in a comfortable situation? Or are you paying X amount in short-term stay, all these things? And then when you add it up over a long period of time, that's what we're looking at, right? And then if the market goes up, which most people aren't planning for, then how does that affect me? And will it go down again if it goes up? I don't know, you know? Just like we talked about, if interest rates hit sub 6, that'll change your market overnight, and I think we'll skyrocket in price.
Right.
Right? And who knows when the next time it comes down, if it comes down again, because it may or may not take a while. As far as our advisors, they're telling us they don't expect interest rates to move too much throughout this year.
This year.
So at least there's that understanding that we're not waiting on interest rates anymore. We're not waiting for it to dip. We're not waiting for it to skyrocket, because they're saying it's going to be pretty stable, and that's what to expect for 2025. So that pressure is kind of relieved. It's more the pressure on pricing. Right? And that could change as well pretty quickly. And the sad thing is that, like, and I've seen this happen over and over and over. The nice thing about real estate is that over time it goes up.
Right.
You know,
so it's a long-term thing. It's not just...
It moves with inflation. It, you know, it appreciates in most places, long-term, of course. But it always goes up. And so the longer you wait may be a good or bad thing, but you're also potentially risking opportunity costs of it going up.
Right.
And if it goes up and you're on a budget, now you probably have to make some sacrifices on what you were planning to buy for the same price, because now you're giving up square footage, location, product, whatever it is. And you may get pushed out on the market if that what you're looking for does not fit the budget anymore. That's the risk, right? And so let's weigh out the two risks. One way, there's a savings, right? Depending that you can afford to buy something today, right? Comfortably afford something today. The risk is the consequence is if the market goes down, you get a better deal. If it goes the other way, you're going to have to pay more, or you could get priced out. And of course, if you get priced out, that's the more devastating of the two, because I've seen so much people that are capped out at X amount. And we just talked about the median price being $485, that I've seen a lot of buyers just not ever be able to afford again because they waited and took that risk. And I don't blame anybody for taking, that approach, because it's scary. But again, the consequence for them are devastating, because they may never be able to purchase in Las Vegas centrally again.
Right.
Depending on what year it was, right? Because if you've been watching Vegas for the past 10 years, it's only been going up. So
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Very interesting.
In the near future.
Yeah. A lot of people are on the street saying correction or a dip. A lot of people are saying none. these trends that we just talked about number wise confuse the heck out of all of us, right? Because sales went down, pricing went up.
Right.
But let me explain that number so that we don't get too winded. So how does it happen if sales went down but price went up? And I think twofold. My opinion is that a lot of people are buying above the median price point, which is why, yeah, less sales, but the people who are buying above the median price point, pushing that number up. And then number two, a lot of people are buying brand new homes, and a lot of the brand new homes today are listed on the MLS. Back in the day, like me and Tiffany, most new builders didn't list their properties on the MLS. And so we don't have the skewed numbers of new construction. Can we dissect these numbers? Yes, we can. But we're just, again, going by medians and averages. And if we were talking to you individually, we would basically comb this thing to segments that would affect you, the segments that would affect you, and then we would be talking a lot more accurate numbers. But because we're doing this one-size-fit-all market update, that it is what it is. And so new builds a lot of them are above the 480 price point, bringing it up to the 485 today.
Right.
So higher sales prices and more new build purchases. That's kind of what in my mind, why the numbers are contradictory.
New homes.
Yeah. And then similar for condos, like how can median price point be above list price? And I think it's because the ones that are being sold are the more upgraded, modern remodels, newer, pushing the number above the list price. Yeah, kind of strange though. And you know it as a trend, right? What's selling today, right?
Well, I do know that although new home sales are down a little bit, there's some really good deals out there.
There are. So new homes are selling. To me, I've seen a lot of modern remodel selling.
Yes.
California, you know, a lot of the relocation have a standard of living or lifestyle that they like, which is the modern remodel. So those are selling.
Right.
For both single family, condo, townhome, or all three. And then houses that have larger lots or pools are selling. I see that happening a lot, pools especially.
Right. And then the luxury market they're staying pretty busy as well too.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Luxury right now over the $1 million
Over
mark
$1 million.
is staying pretty busy, but there are exceptions within the $1 million range that we've seen some gaps in days in the market with, right?
Right.
And so it's not just cut and dry across the board, but I would say middle luxury is doing really well. Whereas entry luxury, it just depends. And then high end is high end, you know, it's going to do whatever it wants to do, regardless what the market is doing.
Right.
Speaking of which, the A's, as you guys know, are coming to town. And the A's owner very silently came in, and I just read an article where he came in and bought the third most expensive home in all of Southern Nevada history.
I think in the Summit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of those owners buy in the Summit. Summit is one of our. Remember we went there together?
We did.
Yeah. We went for opening, but we have friends in the Summit, and they're obviously doing well if they're in there. It's one of the most exclusive neighborhoods located in Summerlin. Very secret, like very low key until you get in there. It's like whoa.
Yeah. You don't expect. You know, when you get in there, you're just overwhelmed with.
You wouldn't even know it's there,
yeah,
right?
No, you wouldn't.
It's on one of the main streets in Summerlin, and then there's like a couple of boulders, and then a regular street that goes up with
then
no
just-
real signs.
And then it just goes all the way back, golf
Yeah.
courses and private
But
it's beautiful.
very discreet, and
Yes.
you would never know it's there is the point, right? Whereas places in Henderson, like the sky, like you'll see it in the mountains, like,
Right.
whoa,
Yeah.
like look at me, right? You can't avoid them, but the Summit is very low key, and they're heavy duty security. And speaking of the Summit, their whole motto is not selling just real estate, it's selling a lifestyle. And that's why it comes with all the bells and whistles that we could obviously talk about
So nice.
forever. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to share before we start wrapping up?
Not necessarily. I just, everyone's situation's different, right? So we're here to help them gauge whether the timing's right for them or not, and help them to make the best decision.
So if you're a buyer or seller, hang in there, guys. Get your timing right. Do the research before you throw that dart, because it can be a little bit more calculated, right? And we can help you do that, or a good agent can help you do that, along with a good lender or even financial planner for that matter, because we rely on those industries to help guide us as well. Other than that, the future long term of Las Vegas looks very bright. And that's why I do support buying, because I know regardless short term if it goes up or down, long term it will go up. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, unless something on the macro level happens, which no one can control
Right.
nationwide or worldwide, I truly, truly believe that Las Vegas is the place right now. That's where all the big monies are coming. That's where all the entertainment is coming. And it is going to become a metropolitan very soon.
Yes.
We're at 2.45 million people, approaching 3 million people predicted in the next 10 years by multiple research studies. Can you imagine? You know, when you moved here, when I moved here, there was 1 million people. And now we're dealing with traffic, we're dealing with construction. But on the flip side, a lot of fun stuff have come to
Yes.
town, right?
Yeah.
The hockey, the Raiders, the Knights, the Raiders, now the A's, on top of everything else, right?
It's still the best city.
Yeah, it's still fun. Yeah. It ain't perfect, and it
Yeah.
ain't for everyone. I will disclose that for sure, but check it out. If it's for you, it's for you. You know, like we don't sell Vegas. Vegas sells itself. We help guide you to homeownership if that's what you want,
Yeah.
or selling houses if
Right.
that's what you want, right? That is
That's a
our
great
kind of
way to
guide.
put it.
It
You
is. I
just
mean,
hit it.
you know,
Yeah.
we've never had to say, come to Vegas. It's the bomb. It's the only place to be. We've never had to
Right,
say that.
right.
Everybody knows about Vegas already, right? It's just a matter of, does it fit me? Can I afford it? Is it, all the personal stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're rambling on, or I'm rambling on, and I appreciate you coming on, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I hope you guys learned something today. We'll continue putting some good value out there. We'll find out that insurance question we
Yep.
talked about for you. And seems like we should be talking about the summit one day.
Yes, and all the great things that are coming here.
Oh,
I'm
even
super
better.
pumped.
That sounds
Yeah.
even more
Yeah.
fun.
Next meeting.
All right. Well, have a great one, you guys. If you haven't, please subscribe so we can continue doing this and knowing that people are actually appreciating and getting value out of what we're doing.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Take care, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.